don't have to know where you're going to get started. This idea really has changed the game for me. I used to always be someone at school and at university who needed to know what the end goal was, what the aim was, and how I was going to get there, what the steps were going to be. I'd start revising for an exam, knowing exactly what steps I was going to take to achieve the best result that I could. When it comes to creative ventures like making music or making a video or starting a business, you don't have to know what the end product is going to look like when you start. You just have to start. That was okay. It's a bit like that video that Shia Labeouf posted.
Do it! Just do it!
He's not wrong. He is not wrong. You don't have to know exactly where you're going when you start. So for example, with this YouTube channel, I don't really know what the end goal is. I know what I want to do, which is post as many videos as I can and see where it takes me. It might take me on several different paths. I might enjoy it in a year's time, I might not enjoy it in a year's time, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying it because I had the idea and I'm following it. Every single self-help book or self-awareness, personal development book, podcast, life coach, it all boils down to the same central message, which is have an idea and start. Think and take action. So whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's paint, whether it's start a business, whether it is make videos or post on social media or write online or write for your own sake privately, then you just need to start. Starting and not knowing where you're going to end up is something I've had to think a lot about recently, mostly because of the YouTube channel in general, but also I write a newsletter every week, which you can sign up to, and the link is in the description, but I have to start every week not really knowing exactly what I'm going to say. And similarly, the scripts that I write for some of my videos, I don't really know what I'm going to say in those either. This video, I actually didn't really have a script. I just sat down and started talking. Here we are talking about starting and not knowing where you're going. And as I'm speaking, it kind of starts to flow out. Once the ball gets in motion, yeah, is that right? Once the ball gets rolling, then, fuck. The ball gets rolling and it stops. Once the ball gets rolling, then it starts turning over ideas in your head. You start to think about other things. You forget about the fact that you had to start in the first place. It's the same with writing. It's the same with any creative venture in general. We just get so wrapped up about what might happen in the future. If you don't start something, you can't ever ruin that idea. That's why we don't start, because we're uncertain about what actually starting the thing might look like and whether we'll be bad, whether people will judge us, whether we won't know what we're doing. But more often than not, when you actually start something, you know more than you think. And if you don't, at least you know what you don't know. And that is really valuable as well. So it's one thing just to know that starting is the right thing to do and trying not to overthink about it. But how do we actually do it? Well, one of the things that I use is fast, bad, wrong, which is a concept I found on Ali Abdaal's YouTube channel, who's my favorite YouTuber. And he talks about how he used it with his writing mostly. The idea is basically whatever you write, you just do it fast, do it bad, do it wrong. And then you've got something down on the page. So whenever you're trying to envisage or visualize what you're writing or what you're trying to say, actually, if you just start and you just know that it's going to be terrible, then you can just write whatever you want and something will come out, and you can then edit it and choose bits that you like and choose bits that you don't like. But you've got something to edit, which is really helpful. If you just think about what you're going to write, then you end up not really writing anything and you're worried about how good it's going to be, and you've set the expectation too high that everything you have to write is going to be perfect. And perfectionism is the enemy of progress. It doesn't mean ignore the details, it just means start and then focus on the details later once you've got something to work with. Perfectionism just stops you starting. The other thing that you can use is the 5-minute rule. So you just start something for 5 minutes, and if you don't like doing it, after 5 minutes you're allowed to stop. And this idea just basically gives you a kind of out. So before you start, you know that you can stop doing it if you don't want to do it anymore. But normally you'll just keep going, or you even enjoy it. And that way the 5-minute rule has got you to start something, but it's giving you a bit of an out, so you don't actually have to commit to it fully, which is a nice idea. We really overthink things, and so many of us have ideas and things we want to do that we don't do because we worry about what will happen. I am really trying to internalize the idea that you don't have to know where you're going to get started. If you want to do something online and you're scared about what people might think, then you don't have to publish anything that you're doing initially. If it's writing, for example, you can just write something and email it to yourself. That's literally what I did for a couple months because I didn't want to tell anyone about I was writing this newsletter, and that was just a step along the journey of getting to making YouTube videos. The most important message is that you just start. It's one of the biggest lessons that I have learned, and the things that I carry with me most now is just starting something and seeing what happens. I think this idea will really stay with me for a long time because it leads to so many more things. You meet more people, you have more interesting conversations, you do more interesting things, you do more things that interest you, and you learn so much more along the way. So whatever it is, just start. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it and feel like helping me out with the YouTube algorithm, please click the like button and the subscribe button. It does really help. And sign up to my newsletter. The link is in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.